What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami with
Cruellica Kain, who's afraid.
and
Silver Quill.
And today we're going to be talking about, as I am naming this video, Kamen Rider Revice 1.2 plus 2 we can redo.
What the hell is that?
Well, because we're going to be talking about episode 1 again. So we're redoing episode 1, so it's 1.2, because 1 version 2, and then plus 2 because we're talking about episode 2, so we're redoing the review so we can redo. It's a play off the Evangelion movie.
I was about to ask, are you an Evangelion fan? You never told me.
Well, you've been threatening.
I will continue.
Which there is a new Blu-ray set coming out with all the episodes of movies on it for the old series. In both dubs, too.
Wow, subtle.
I know! Wow!
No, I'm just saying that. Because, whatever. Anyway, so we are here to talk about Kamen Rider Revice. Episode 1 again, and 2. So, well, actually, I guess since we haven't heard your thoughts on episode 1, what did you think of it?
What fresh spore of madness is this? Okay, it started off interesting and got progressively weirder and weirder and weirder. And I'm of split mind on it.
Wow, really split mind?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I will say,
He didn't even finish!
Well, I'm not sure. We'll get to it. We'll get to my thoughts.
so episode 1, last week when we watched it, the subtitles were really, really bad. Like, the translations were just awful.
Yes.
So, I was completely lost, partially because of the translation. So this time we used a different finance subs group, and I felt their subtitles were much better. Did you feel the same?
Actually, so last week when we watched it, and then we re-watched the first part because
First
I
5
was
minutes.
confused. I even said during our review, without the complicated title, that I needed to watch the episode again because I was very confused. This time when I watched the episode, I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. I kind of felt dumb.
Well, like, okay, so the subtitles this week, you know at the beginning when they said GIF, or we were debating if his name's Jif, they say that the girl is his fiance. You saw that at the beginning, right? Do you remember that?
No, I remember that there were no subtitles at the very beginning of episode 1, as they were in the cave and.
No.
This is at the party.
The girl in the red, in the rave,
Oh.
they say she's GIF's fiance.
Yes.
Yeah, GIF.
Last week, the subtitles we watched from last week, they used some really weird word for fiance that I didn't know what they actually meant.
Betrothed?
No, that one I would have known. It was
Indentured?
No, it was in.
No, it wasn't indentured.
No, but it was something.
Mail order?
No. Okay, whatever. But
Redneck shotgun
but
weapon.
she knew it. But she knew it when it was fiance. I had never heard of the word before, so.
Well, I always said betrothed. I'm trying to think of what other words there are.
I know. I'm like, what other synonyms are there for betrothed?
They can just look at the Izu subs or whatever it was we used. This time we used Genmakor. But the subtitles were much better. There was one sequence when George, the scientist, went off to say, "You're taking too long." They had the subtitles be like 4 lines big for his entire sentence instead of breaking it up like they did here.
Huh.
So the subtitles were much better.
Oh, you meant intended.
Intended, yes.
Intent? No.
That was the word they used, and I was like, what the hell was that?
Well, you know, if he's Omega Power, then she's her superintendent.
But the first 5 minutes, I feel like still could have been one whole episode. Just introducing the Deadmans, the Phoenix group, and then the brother in the bathhouse.
So, okay, what did you think about Iki?
Iki, our main character.
Yes.
Well, he's a family-based guy, but you can tell he's holding back his potential. Now, Kamen Rider Wizard is looking at this like, hey, that was my thing!
So what we referenced last week, which you haven't had a chance to watch, is a show called Ultraman Rube, where you have
Rube?
2 brothers.
Are we back to rednecks?
It's red and blue.
Yeah, red and blue, so they call it Rube. Kind of like Ruby That one show?
Yeah, I get you. I like my definition better.
No, I think you're kind of on the mark there, but the basic... So let me explain to you the show group. Just, yeah, because you're in the
Now
way.
I feel like Akito from...
Oh, wait, this is what we did at Cruellica. Here, let's talk and say weird things over each other. So,
Yes.
we'll get
So
to
in Rube, you have two brothers that both become Ultraman. You have Ultraman Red, Ultraman Blue.
Russo.
Whatever. Let me finish. Okay, pipe down, Peanut Gallery. Anyways, the elder brother had the potential to become a baseball player. He chose not to, so he worked in the family business to help out his father who was struggling and to help care for his younger sister. Then the younger brother, he also went to college because he was incredibly intelligent and wanted to fulfill his potential. So for this series, I kind of felt like they're mimicking that in a way where you have two brothers that are very close and care for each other, but they were having challenges in regards to...
Ooh, I heard that pop.
Well, that's because he has his mouth open.
I don't know. Check his teeth.
But, so I feel like it kind of mimics that.
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking you're describing It's a Wonderful Life. The dutiful elder brother.
Oh, yeah, gave up his career in It's a Wonderful Life.
And boy, but instead of an angel helping him out,
He has a devil.
His inner demons.
inner teeth.
Now I will say I do agree with some people that commented on the video we did last week that it is actually refreshing to have a Kamen Rider whose family is not dead. Because that's how every Kamen Rider series has been for the last forever.
Has anyone done a Batman meme with Kamen Riders? My parents are dead!
I did like episode 1 much better this time around.
Yes.
And like I said, I think it's because the translation was better.
Well, episode 1 was entertaining. I did like... So I still have issues with Vice.
Oh, I don't like Vice.
Where he does the fourth wall break.
He's Deadpool in it.
Yes.
Well,
I do
Well,
like...
let him talk.
Well, again, we'll get to this.
Well, the other thing I did really like even more this time around was the fight choreography. Like when he kicks at the monster and he misses and hits the wall and you just see the brick shatter.
And the enemy's head come off.
The foam did really well in that scene.
Wasn't foaming it in?
Exactly.
But I like the fight choreography a lot in that one.
But I like the family overall. I mean, the father, so energetic and quirky, but he only does things in little. He aims for the stars and is lucky if he hits a puddle.
I agree. I like the dad. I like the dad more so the second time we watched the episode.
How many? Oh, the record for bungee jumps is 7,900. Blah blah blah.
10,000.
How many did you do? 2. Oh well, that was close.
I like the enthusiasm because I even liked the way the camaraderie was of the family. It seemed very authentic, even during when they're eating at the dinner table.
The only character I'm a little unsure of in the family is the sister. She's in that awkward teen phase where she's denying any of her embarrassing childish stuff. But then they're like, oh, but she'll also be a karate major, so she's tough and strong. We keep that in mind when the monsters are attacking or kidnapping her. Because I'm sorry, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, she did a good job during the sequence when I wanted to say Ganma, but
The best she could in that situation. I mean, by definition, if these things can be beaten by a regular karate student, then they're not as big a threat.
I will say I like George a lot. He makes me think of Aizen.
George.
He's the scientist.
Oh yeah.
That's
that
his name.
hair.
Okay. This is a very Japanese thing. I'm trying to make sure I'm on screen still, right?
Your head is like...
You're at the very edge.
You're on the edge.
So, if it's George, let me check again.
George
Yes.
of
The
the
problem I
Riders.
have with him
Scientist to you
is
and
his
me.
hair.
I think his hair looks cool.
I think it looks like he's bald on one side. I didn't realize I'm in no position to criticize.
Oh yeah,
But
his name is George.
He's intentionally bald, which is just... How could you?
Well, and so he has all of those like
Metal thing.
bobby pins. That's what they're called, bobby pins. He has
Did
all.
Bobby make them?
Bobby's World?
Ugh.
They're a girl thing.
So
But they're so
did she
popular
make
in
them?
Japan.
Did Bobby?
Oh my god, okay, moving on.
I didn't get an answer to my question.
No one named Bobby made them. Well,
Oh.
actually, I kind of think an evil man did make them because when putting them in extremely curly hair, and a family member of mine can contest with this, when you try to take them out, they tear out your hair and you feel like you're going bald.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Actually, that confirms my belief that fashion was based on sadism.
Mm-hmm.
High heels, neckties, now bobby pins, which are also false advertising. There are no bobbies.
But he's trying to look all edgy at the same time.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, I guess we know who your favorite character is.
Right now, yes.
Really. Because then there's the poor commander at the time who... I'm surprised he was the one. But the thing that really knocked me out of the park on the first episode was the introduction of the villains. What the... It's like a mega church mixed with a cult. Okay, redundant.
I was going to say, it's kind of
Well,
the same thing.
Okay, so what I like is, well, first of all, them having a rave to introduce them was pretty awesome. But I like that they actually feel like a credible threat. And they're not evil Kamen Riders.
But they are appropriating a culture. I'm kidding. I don't
We
feel
have
like
a
that.
guy who does blackface voicing Vice.
Oh.
We're not going to get into that.
But the costumes, especially the dude in the sombrero, so elaborate. They scream. They call out to the world.
I like how his costume looks like he has rib cages as his vest.
Honestly, I have to watch him again because I was too busy just trying to take it all in to appreciate the details. But like, ugh.
So his character name is Julio.
Makes sense.
And I honestly, I like the design of him.
Ah, now I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm glad those bells don't jangle though.
And the other thing I like is they're very colorful.
They are.
Well, and then for Oteka, because he's wearing my favorite color
Green.
of green, I like him because he seems, it's not a great picture, but he seems like that smooth operator.
Smooth operator.
He could be a smooth criminal.
Now, the only character... The only character I'm not a fan of right now of the trio really is Aguilera. I kind of feel
Christina?
like
Is she a genie in a bottle?
Ooh,
she's...
rubber.
Wow, the fact that you know a song by Christina Aguilera worries me.
That's because MTV played that video like every 45 minutes when it first came out.
Of course, if you try to rub her the right way, you will get a restraining order.
I am going to set down my phone now. I might leave because this is apparently getting a little too much for me.
What did you think when of Vice, or well, let's go with Revy's pink and blue bubblegum-like costume?
I don't like. Okay, here's where the duality of my mind comes in.
You have duality?
All the time.
Is it individual?
That would be something. So I don't stand a ghost of a chance then. So I hate the designs of the Kamen Rider and its merged forms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I do like the origami look of the enemies and how the contracts fold into these respective devils.
Yes.
I like that, but everything else I am really not a fan. Even the brief look of the motorcycle that he will be using, which is really more of a hover cycle.
Okay. Other question. Revy's face. Do you see Kremzik in it like I do? Because I see Kremzik.
Kremzik! Not really. I see more an exaggeration of Q-Ranger. Q-Roger.
Kyodoger?
Q-Roger.
For anybody who doesn't know, who is Kremzik?
Oh,
An awesome, annoying thing from Transformers G1.
I did a Twitter post on this to see how many people knew, and there were some fun guesses, but a few people got it right away. A little electrical devil in the Transformers series.
I love the one that thought it was something for Donkey Kong Country.
But here's the thing. It was a small, yellow, electric-themed creature that said its name all the time.
Kremzik!
Decades before
Kremzik!
Pikachu.
Kremzik! And then
Wow.
and then the episode had multicolors at one point.
Multicolors.
Which there was a pink one. That's why I thought of Kremzik with Revy's design.
Okay, but
Revy or Vice?
Revy.
Oh, okay.
okay. This is so I don't like the designs. episodes.
No, and I think
don't like the colors. I don't like the motif.
the worst part for me also in episode 1 was when he got the T-Rex legs, and that's CGI.
Oh, yeah, the CGI design. Kamen Riders. It may sound shallow, but they need to look cool. There needs to be an elegance to them.
Count up your sins.
I mean, this is part of why I never really got into X8. The bright pink video game, super deformed.
Shut up! Because I really want to see X8. So he's looking at me.
I'm willing to give it a chance. Don't get me wrong. I didn't think I'd like Gain. But
well, I don't think anybody was thinking we'd like the Fruit Riders.
But I will admit the armor was cool, and that's why I was willing to watch it. Kamen Rider Wizard looked cool. Double looked cool. Let's see, who did look cool?
Ghost looks cool.
Ghost looked cool. Forze, I was a little shaky on the Spaceman motif. But all these Kamen Riders, usually they have a really cool look. This one, I think they're trying to look countercultural.
Well, this one, so somebody else had mentioned that the weird thing about it is the colors associated with male and female genders.
Which I'm told actually swapped at one point in history.
Yes, because blue means the color of life in a way. Because like the color of water, which brings life and things like that. But I think the challenge with it is, it's kind of like the problem that we had with Cure Major prior to it really kicking off, is there's this challenge that we have when there's certain things that are associated with genders. And I'm not trying to talk about gender duality or anything like that, because that's a whole different conversation, not meant for Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is not going to be the spokesperson for that. But I think it's kind of interesting because I had the same issue. I was like, all that pink. I had the same issue with Decade. I had the same issue with X8's costumes, because all that pink, I'm like, I'm not trying to think it's like a pansy type thing. I just don't think of pink as a strong
The other
color.
problem I have is, so the pictures of Revi, the pink looks darker in the promo shots than it actually looks on screen.
That's the other aspect. These are pastels. They are not striking.
Correct.
A neon pink, a bolder shade of pink.
Which is why it worked so well with Decade, because it was a bold, bright pink.
Contrast against black.
Contrasting against black, where you have a pastel pink. I actually called it salmon pink in our last video.
I was thinking of Shinesman. Why am I the salmon pink ranger?
And then you have it connecting with a very light blue. I actually think of baby shower colors the more I think of them. I'm like, oh my god, are we going to have like a baby reveal?
Well, technically, Vice does come from inside him.
And they're using the buddy system.
Oh, the buddy system. Okay, so here's the other half of my thought.
Mm-hmm.
For episode 1 still?
Oh, 1 and 2. Actually, more highlighted in 2.
Okay, because I was about to
Transition.
move on to episode 2.
Move on.
So yes, so they save the day. They meet the mother at the hospital. They say, we're going to take care of the bathhouse. End of episode.
Oh, I will also just chime in that the mother is pretty hardcore. The first thing she says when she wakes up from a near death, bathhouse, if you slacked off, we're going to be pissed.
I know, I was like, go mom!
So episode 2 starts, and we get the commander guy gets fired from his position because he couldn't hold in his inner devil.
I was actually surprised at that, because I thought the punishment doesn't match the crime. Yes, he was egotistical and he took a risk, but he did it with good intention. I know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but his
Road to hell is paved with good intentions. So
I
that's a
still
new
love
kind of
that.
deal.
I still love that saying, but I think it's important to note that he legitimately was trying to save people, because nobody else was going to pick up the slack, because even Daigi, the younger brother who's supposed to be Revice,
was the original candidate.
he he panicked under the weight of that responsibility.
Well, also seeing the negative outcome that the commander gave rise.
Well, yeah.
But honestly, I'm a little surprised Aichi was not demoted from captain.
I was too, that he was given like a pass in a way.
Or, what, you have something I need, get your brother signed on. It's like, you can keep your rank if you do that.
Yeah.
But I did like, well, the only thing is, obviously, this guy's going to come to have his Jesus moment. He's become the next Kamen Rider.
Maybe. Or he'll become the next big bad.
But
there is that possibility.
To be honest, in episode 2, I thought he was the unexpected guest who came in.
Actually, I thought the same thing.
No, I figured it was the golfer. But, so we have that thing going on. Then we have, which I liked, the theme song.
The theme song?
I liked it.
I might need to get used to it.
Yeah, I'll have to get used to it. But I actually am surprised at that because compared to the two of us, we're huge fans of theme songs.
Yeet.
We live for these theme songs. Even the Zenkaiger theme song, I have it downloaded on my phone and I listen to it.
But it took you about 5 weeks to get to like the song.
It did, but there are so many other theme songs like "Take It From Gaim," "Double."
I have Overquartzer on my
Over
phone.
Quartzer?
Yes.
Which one's that?
That is Geo's theme.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And same thing, I have "Build," I have "01."
But it actually, because I don't know what it was. This one kind of, theme song actually kind of made me think of the Lupin Ranger versus Pot Ranger theme song.
Dual's voices?
Well, yeah, because there were two different, there was a male and female singing, and the way that the whole music worked just made me think of that opening theme. And I love the chorus in the song, especially when it's singing about contracting the devil.
Honestly, I thought this would make a good death metal song.
Well, actually, I was about to... So there's this band called Pop Evil. And one of my favorite songs by them is called "Deal with the Devil." And so every time I hear... Not that kind
You've
of
popped enough tonight.
But every time I hear the song "Deal with the Devil" in this, I'm thinking of one of my metal songs called "Deal with the Devil." And,
Son of the Daughter.
the one thing I will say
Bring
that
a pan.
I kind of see what you're coming from now is one of the series that we watched for Halloween month. You were very adamant, even though I love the opening song for that particular series, you were adamant that it did not fit the narrative of the story. And with this, even though I think I'll have to take a little bit of time to get used to it, I can see we're having a song talking about the deal with the devil and having that like punk rock type feel to the song matches the theme of the show.
That, and it matches the music in the show itself.
And you can be so edgy.
Yes, that is very true.
Like, just think.
So we have a new edgelord if you think about it.
Just think about with like Kamen Rider Kiva, Break the Chain. It's violins and rock music, which is the music of the show itself.
I will say with episode 2, I kind of, for the two people who become monsters in the show, you have the caddy and then the golfer.
The golfer who's so teed off.
But
this should have been a two-parter.
So, yes, first and foremost, I actually felt like it was an hour-long episode. At the moment, I was like, wait, we're getting a second battle? This doesn't feel like a single episode. And I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, has Kamen Rider gone to the way of doing hour-long episodes? Which you would have mentioned. But I think the problem I had with it was something that you talk about a lot when you're doing character analyses, is that it's hard to feel bad for two characters that I kind of didn't care about.
Well,
like the caddy, yes, he got beat down by the golfer, but my problem with him was he didn't speak up enough. He kind of was so meek and mild. Well, he's so meek and mild. And then you had the golfer. I'm like, you're just a complete douche. Why am I going to care if either of you get saved?
Well, and the other thing is, it didn't make sense to me because, so the caddy is given the stamp. And he looks there, and he's like, I'm not going to use this. But then also the next time we see him, he's there just boom. It's like we never actually saw him have mixed feelings about whether he should or should not use it. We should have actually seen, like, having a little thing with Daiji and Iki doing their thing. Then showing the caddy, like, at nighttime, considering, should I really, like, just sitting there at a bar or something, looking at this stamp, and then the next day, the commercial break comes up. When it comes up, it's the next day at the golf thing, and he's there confronting the golfer and hits the stamp.
Plus, neither of them is sorry when they see the destruction their inner devil is wreaking.
But then
that's the other problem, is because it's like they were going after one. Well, at least the caddy was initially just going after the golfer, but he didn't seem like the type, from how his character was introduced, that he was all for going after and harming so many other people to exact his revenge.
And that's another thing. They could have shown that maybe also using the stamp manipulates you into your personality, that you end up becoming the opposite of how you act when you are given the stamp, because it starts to manipulate your thoughts of, no, you want to use me, you want to do mass destruction. And that's another thing they could have done when he was considering, like, well, should I really use this? But the other thing is, after the whole episode is done, I'm supposed to believe they suddenly just kissed and made up and they're all friends again? Like, why do I care that they did that? Two, shouldn't they be arrested for their actions?
Well, that was the other thing. The Phoenix people are like, yeah, we'll pay for your injuries. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's like...
Without going into in-depth, events of this year make me less sympathetic to people who endanger the public.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I'm not in a receptive mood for these guys.
Well, I also have a problem with... I kind of felt like in the first episode, the devil that comes out is from a convicted criminal. So already a terrible, terrible being that you would know that his demon is going to be equally as bad, if not more.
And then
then this episode, I'm like...
Well, and then they show with the commander guy, when he did it, that if you're not under control of yourself, your demon will be...
And just for the two guys today who did it, I'm like, wow, you're not Tiger Woods.
Oh no, I didn't win a golf game. Oh, the humanity. This is why I hate golfers.
Well, this is why you just don't go out clubbing anymore.
Well, I was kind of disappointed because, in some other Kamen Rider series, and you've seen this even when we watch like Build and 01, there's some people that's like, really? We save everyone, but do you really have that bad of problems?
Well, look at going back to Agito, where we had that one former criminal that they saved from the monster, but he was arrested at the end because he still was a criminal. So even though they saved him, he gets his just desserts.
Still gets his punishment.
Well, I'm actually thinking back to the Garo, the third generation, where you had the black suit.
Yeah.
And there was that guy who...
Ryuga.
There was a guy who was not a horror, but was a miserable soul. It's like, you guys are nice. You can punch him. You don't have to run him through, but you can punch him real good.
Well, yeah, there are certain times where I feel like it's stretching a little bit. And that's not the most disappointing thing of the episode. There's much weirder.
Yeah, so the weird thing is, so we get the mantis monster from the caddy. Iki goes there to fight him with the saying, oh, we'll talk about this whole contract thing with Phoenix later. They go there, he transforms, he gets the eagle stamp that gives him his double form. And then they have this eagle mode, which I don't know how I feel about that. There were some cool aspects, and I will say the colors were better than the actual
because
Rex
it was
mode.
a green and purple.
Well, there was some pink in there still, but
Well, yeah, but I like the green and purple
but
dino.
then they do that weird buddy system where he's just I don't
sitting
get
on
it.
the other guy's shoulders.
I don't get it. I did like when he's like, "Why did you let go?" when he's flying around.
See, the one thing I did like about this is that even though they're a team, they're still not a team.
Right. I did like the camera work though, showing like the fall golf course as they were fighting in the air. And then so they defeat the monster, and I like they go back to the hospital after Icky said, "I'm not doing this." And the mother's like, No. We can protect the bathhouse. You protect the world.
Now, what did you think of the first half of the episode?
Well, it seemed like the standard Kamen Rider formula. You've had the introduction of the power. Now it's accepting that power.
Mm-hmm.
Some Kamen Riders have done it before the series has even begun, like Wizard. Others have just now received it and are not sure what to do with it, like X-A.
Very true.
I mean, I did stick with it long enough to see that. So when they brought in the golfer, I was expecting like a to be continued cliffhanger. I thought that was the second episode. No, it goes on.
Well, and that was so strange because I don't remember seeing an eye catcher.
They don't do eye catchers anymore. It just boom, boom.
Okay, because I was so weird because...
I was so weird.
Well,
it was so weird.
We know that. We're all weird.
But So, now that we're at the second half of the episode, which truly should have been episode 3, because it really felt crammed together.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us mentioned that after we watched the movie, we're like, wait, what? How?
Was that 3 episodes? No, that was just 2.
And so, now that we have the golfer, he gets enticed because of Vice.
Which I did like that. I just, again, wish they went more into it. Because I like that he just said, because you don't even know what he actually says until later on when he's all, like, smirking about it. And I did like the aspect of when they go into battle, Iki purposely goes into battle without the belt and saying, I'm going to do this without the belt if you're going to continue acting this way.
Make a contract.
Now, what did you all think about the fact that somehow the golfer found Dead Man? Because it makes me think of that cult. Do they have like a big sign saying, evil come here and
Dead Man's this way.
I think it's more you go to just the right Mexican restaurant and you talk to the band.
Casa Bonita?
Casa Bonita. It's Japanese Casa Bonita. They do dive underwater.
You go up to Antonio Banderas and you say,
No, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Hey, I want to get into the Dead Man's headquarters. How do I do it?
What accent was that?
I know.
I don't know.
What the hell?
I was thinking more you just look for Steven Spielberg's counterpart, Silvano Spielbergo.
I just think of Princess Bride.
But
Now,
I think what it was is
Spaniard.
it was probably having to do with Vice's whole advice to him. Gave him the location to go to or to seek them out.
But still, that doesn't answer the question. How the hell did they find... How the hell did he find them? Because it's... Unless they have, like, advertisements in the newspaper, they're either extremely flamboyant with their display.
Well, admit they're pretty easy to spot in a crowd.
Yes, but still, unless they're walking the streets and they follow him...
Hey, Coco, come here.
Coco's a wonderful movie.
I know, leave Coco alone.
But,
And their costumes were actually well restrained.
they were.
Even the villain. But okay, Vice in this episode, and the fact that he enticed this golfer, and all because he just didn't want to be bored.
Well, and that...
I don't like Vice.
I do, because not necessarily because of his personality. I actually kind of like the Deadpool fourth wall breaking. But
No, that's fair.
this whole inner demon thing actually speaks a lot to Jungian psychology and ideas and themes. So the idea that within every person is the shadow self.
Sure.
We all have, well, you're not real unless you cast a shadow. So, a lot of times, the big mistake people think is that if you have a shadow self, you must destroy it or remove it. No. The shadow is where you find your strength. The shadow is where if you learn to integrate it, take the unconscious and move it up into the conscious, you can harness that power. The caddy was meek in approaching the golfer. They're so uninteresting, I never learned their names. Now, if he tapped into the
Did we
frustration...
even get the golfer's name?
Yes.
We did. I just don't remember him.
If he tapped into the frustration he felt and used it to speak up, to say, hey, you're struggling, you need to listen.
Hey, listen.
That would be him properly channeling. Instead, this stamp is very explicit in letting your shadow self take the driver's seat.
That's fair. I hadn't thought about that.
The passive becomes the sadist, because you give the unconscious free reign. And that's why I kind of like that Vice's first release, when it's just put the stamp on, it gives him free reign, and the first thing he does is indiscriminately attack. It isn't until you take the driver, a focal point to keep the subconscious aware, made manifest in the real world, but under control of the conscious. He is channeling, harnessing his shadow self.
No, that's fair.
And I like that idea as expressed within this. So I hate the design of it. I like the idea behind it.
No, when you put it like that, the idea of Vice does make sense, because actually his name is very fitting.
Very.
Because having the name Vice, we all have vices that we have to either overcome or live with.
Oh my god, now I'm just thinking of someone doing a Grand Theft Auto mod for Vice City, and it's all Vice in it.
He could be the mayor.
Well, now, one thing that I think about when you mention the shadow people that kind of works when you think of when you see any time that Vice is coming out of Iki, you see them literally connected.
There's a ghost tether.
And so I actually think of, now when you mention that, Peter Pan.
He's not quite a... He's the eternal boy, but he casts no shadow.
But if you think about it, let's use the original movie as an example from the 50s. He has a shadow, but his shadow escaped. So Wendy has to sew the shadow back onto his shoe, so they're one and the same again. But his shadow was very obnoxious and childish, like he was. And we can even take it a step further and look at the movie Us. That's a great play on shadow people in a way.
Yes. And even before the main conflict begins, Iki is hearing Vice.
Yes.
Making sort of snide remarks about sugar intake. I mean, he's trying to be helpful and nice, but there's this part of him that's a bit more judgmental, more assertive. This is a kid who gave up on a goal for the sake of others, but in a way he is being subservient and not self-asserting. Vice is that voice, that push to stand out. In fact, Vice forces him to set hard boundaries and assert his priorities, his sense of self, over a wild aspect.
No, I like that. I really do like that, because it is something that hasn't been played upon in Kamen Rider before, because you do have the play on duality, because that was the premise for Double for the most part.
There was one episode of Geo. I don't think you all have seen it. It was the Ryuki celebration. Where the main character addresses his reflection. Literally, it's talking to him. And he admits how scared he is of his possible future. The only time he was worried that he's going to become the next tyrant. And he admitted he was afraid. And by confronting that, he gains this new form and power.
For Ryuki or?
Well, Geo, the Geo the second or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, every now and again, this is what I like about Kamen Rider. Well, Super Sentai is conflicting powers. Darkness, light. Stagnation, imagination. Despair, hope.
Yes.
Those are great for kids because they introduce you to the ideas of good and evil.
Well, yeah, and they give you that hope that good can eventually prevail.
Kamen Rider is a bit more adult in that the power is amoral. Both hero and villain usually pull power from the same resource.
Well, they do. I think the
I've been
reason...
chatting a lot.
I need to check the computer real quick while we're recording because it looks like you just.
Well,
I'm throwing your phone around. Wait a minute, this is his phone.
yes.
This is the guy who says, I don't like technology, I just want a phone. No, I'm going to talk about this now.
Remember, I just had it because I needed my title for our review.
But I also... So, the reason I like Kamen Rider so much is because not only does it give that more adult feeling to it, but has always given me that opportunity to see something in Japanese cinema that you don't always get even in anime. Unless you're truly watching adult-themed anime, is you get that feeling like they're not talking down to you. They don't even have the consciousness to be able to talk down to you. And so when I look at it like that, if I look at it in a more wider spectrum, for a lot of the more modern Kamen Rider series, this is going on that theme of giving you some very deep things to talk about. Because in all honesty, with Saber, from what I watched from Geo and other series, I wouldn't say it would Build or 01, because I felt those gave you those serious opportunities to talk about topics. This is the first one after 01 where I feel like you can actually have a serious conversation about something.
You know there's only one series in between this and 01, right?
I know, shush.
It went on for years.
It felt like it went on forever. And even when I did see more stuff about Saber, it was bad. So it's nice when you can have this, because when we are talking about Sentai, we are much more energetic and uplifting because you get so many flashy things going on.
Now this was not flashy, this was just disproportionate.
Now I will say, but actually before we continue, any feedback?
Yeah, I was about to say we need to talk about
The reptile in the room?
the butt in the room.
The butt of the joke?
Well, he's got to kiss ass after he made all that trouble.
Why?
He's got junk in the trunk.
Why? Did they
He was on a
really?
streak.
Did they really have to do that?
I'm just happy that nobody farted.
That was as bad as the train boner in Toku Journey.
So, okay, what we're referencing is apparently one of the special attacks is that they combine
They do the buddy system.
the buddy system to turn into a T-Rex. So Iki's arms, or Revi's arms, turn into the bottom part of the jaw, and then you have the top of the head of a T-Rex come over, so his arms move up and down like a jaw.
Kinda.
I say kinda because
It didn't look
It's a
that.
CGI mess.
It's a CGI.
it was terrible. And I'm like, I think all of us at that particular moment were like, what are we watching?
Okay.
What is this?
And then, yes, so then we get Vice. His face is right in Revi's ass.
And we do mean right in there.
And I mean, he even turns to look at the audience and make a joke about it. And, oh.
Well, again, I draw the Deadpool analogy. He and Colossus feels over. Daddy?
But, okay, the CGI. Remember in Kamen Rider Double how bad the T-Rex looked when they went CGI T-Rex, that he had to chase in that CGI vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
And that looked bad? This looked worse than that.
Oh, yes, I have to jump back all the way to the very beginning of episode 1. The plane flying. Not since Zenkaiger have I seen such poor green screen. Granted, that wasn't very long, a time unit, but it feels that way.
But, yeah, the ass joke just...
So we were very confused.
Why? I don't get it. Why did they do that? What did they just feel that was funny?
Honestly, the funny thing for me is that the T-Rex form was more visually coherent than the eagle form.
Yes.
The eagle form was a mess to me.
Both of them were a mess, but this, even though it could be construed as coherent, it was, for a lack of a better way of putting it, dumb.
Ugh.
It was asinine.
Well, no, this is 50. They're celebrating 50 years.
But yeah, I don't.
But if you find a problem with it, well, that's the asphalt. Gotta pound the pavement.
And in the whole attack process of it, like their attack with it, I was like, oh my god. I just know. I know. If I hope and pray, because thoughts and prayers can do something occasionally.
Well, as we saw in Ultraman, the Ultimate Hero.
That I kind of hope and pray that we will not
never see that again.
this again.
Well, we still got to see this hover motorcycle that was in the open credits. We haven't seen that yet.
That, and obviously we're going to get another form. We get the Decade form next week. We get...
Okay,
The
is this going to be like another series where we're going to get all the special forms in like the first 10 episodes?
Probably.
Actually, I'm sensing it's very similar to Build, in that you defeat the villain, you get their power. The Build, they defeat a villain, they do the whole Martian capsule thing, they'd have a new form. This one, they get the stamp after they defeat a villain.
Well, and right now, from looking at the catalog of stamps, we don't have a Megalodon one.
Megalodon!
We do have...
Megalodon is Decade. It's right there.
Oh, that's a Megalodon. Okay.
That's why I said, because they even said the next episode is he gets a stamp of a passing through warrior.
Because the Mantis is going to be... Well, I'm trying to show both of you, and you're moving to make it difficult.
So each form is supposed to represent a specific rider?
Yes.
Yeah, so Megalodon is Decade, Lion will be Kuga, Pterodactyl will be Phys, is that Mammoth?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mammoth is Deno, Brachiosaurus is Geo.
Why is the Brachiosaurus Geo?
I don't know what that
Does he stick
one
his
is.
neck out for anyone?
Oh, I think that's a wolf. That might be... Well, maybe. But that would be
Fox, maybe?
Exade. Could be a fox. The Mantis is Gaim. Gorilla is Forze. And the Eagle, as we saw, is Double.
So
I didn't pick up on that at all.
For Double?
I didn't see the resemblance.
I did. Because he had like a...
A duality, like two different colors.
I'd have to see it again because I was mostly just like, what is going on right now?
So the one cool thing about being an anniversary series, if we compare it to Zenkaiger, is that they are trying to give more reference to it in subtle ways. The problem is the animal counterparts...
Don't match.
No, they don't match, because I don't think of Eagle when I consider
Double?
Double.
Well, okay. That pink looks way better than it does in the show.
I can kind of see the duality of Double now. Although, if we're going to say Eagle, I'm just thinking of Scrubs. Eagle! Eagle!
I need to watch that
I'm just
show
thinking
again. But then again, if you think about it, Megalodon, how does that equal Decade?
Decado.
Is it because it's an extinct creature? Because the Brachiosaurus doesn't match Deno either.
Well,
Or no, Geo.
yeah, I was going to say it's the Mastodon that's Deno.
You mean Mammoth?
The Mammoth, yeah. Yeah, I don't get how they're choosing these.
Mammoth.
But...
Like, the Mantis makes sense, because if you think about it, the Mantis is like a king
Well,
within their creature form, but...
I just, I don't know. It didn't jump out at me, but
Well-
mostly because I'm still trying to wrap my head around all the sheer bonkers.
Maybe Kuga's a lion because he likes to mooch off everyone. He's just lying around.
But Kuga's actually pretty proactive.
I know, but with the whole...
We called him Kamen Rider Mooch, so...
Oh yeah, that's right. He lives off everybody else.
Yes. Now, to be fair, I want to actually, if we're going to have an anniversary show, I kind of want it to be in a way similar to what they did for Gokaiger. Where you actually have, not like Geo.
We had that with Decade, where he would transform into the other riders.
Yes, but not all of the others. I don't want him to transform into the other riders.
It's the mistake that Zenkaiger's making. It only emphasizes the power and not celebrates the characters that
Correct.
came before.
Which I understand was a big thing for Gokaiger, and you don't want to just redo Gokaiger.
I do.
But
I do, yes, but...
I don't want to redo Gokaiger. I just wanted to do something interesting with the anniversary. The problem is everyone's been doing anniversary series that have callbacks to the other previous series so often now that none of it feels special anymore.
You know what I want above all else? I want the corporate dude from O's to say happy birthday sometime during the series.
What if he was just like Restraining Order in the latest Ultraman? He's just walking through the background, happy birthday, goes off screen. Who? What?
Now, two other things.
That would be hilarious.
One, what do you think about when he's transforming and you have like the text message going on in the background?
I wish I could actually read it better.
You gotta pause.
Yeah, I feel like I can see the conversation that they're having. It kind of aggravates me though, because I'm like, why are we having a cell phone conversation during the transformation sequence?
I'm mostly thinking of Cassie in Mortal Kombat, her selfie fatality. But it's definitely, it works better if you read kanji and speak the language.
Yes.
We gaijin who have to rely on the subtitles, it's hard to squeeze that on the far left of the screen. You gotta pause.
I do give him credit for subbing
Yes.
that though.
Yes, we gotta pause and read it. Thank you for subbing it. It is appreciated. We just gotta hit pause because you were given very little space with which to work.
Yes.
And the other thing is, what do you think about the 50 being on the belt?
Doesn't make sense.
No.
No, it doesn't. I actually,
Well-
in all honesty, I was confused why a 5 was there. I never even thought of seeing 0. I was like, why is there a 5 there?
Actually,
I think this is the 5th belt?
I actually think I know why. I think I know. I'm not going to say anything till the show confirms it, but...
Actually, I kind of like the idea. Yeah, the prototypes 1 through 49, we got the test room cleaned off finally. Next, the kin had been informed. But 50 was a winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Did you really just have to do that?
Well,
Yes.
we did have a chicken dinner. It was delicious.
I know. Success.
So, we didn't get much of the dead mans in this episode. That much.
But they were more menacing in this second episode.
They were, especially Olteka,
Mm-hmm.
him being kind of like the catalyst for everything.
And when she picked up that camera and just said, "This is nothing compared." Oh wait, that was the
first episode.
Oh,
I
what do
did
you-
like that though.
Okay, let me ask you. When the dad is at the hospital, when the dad gave the mother the 3-headed origami, did you think of Ghidorah?
Yes.
Because it was a yellow color origami, 3 heads.
Not right away. I was more just impressed that he could do that with origami. Yeah, I'm appreciative of what people can do a single-headed crane. That guy is actually master class. Those 2 jump ropes he did, I am betting they were like double helix flips. And he could only do 2, but they were the 2 best damn jumps in history.
Can I say though that him being an amateur YouTuber in a way, and then having the main actor for Zenkaiger being a YouTuber, I'm like, wow, they're really hitting it.
Social media, when technology becomes not a factor but a driving force, you know you feel old.
Yes.
I feel like that Griff in Gargoyles, upon landing in the 1990s after World War II, nearly fainting into oncoming traffic. You realize how much the world has changed, and this is the new norm, and you just feel.
Yeah, I will admit that.
Straining order, straining order, straining order. He's not allowed in the next Revice video.
You can't do that. I need him.
Well, it depends if he's over for us to do the Revice video.
You'll be over, right?
I'll be over. I'm being pulled over. I'm being pulled over.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Too far. Too close. Too close. Okay. Anyway, final thoughts. Would you want to continue the series?
Yes. At this time, I kind of feel like it's how, with all its flaws, I still think it's kind of fun. And I actually would like to continue watching it just to see where it goes. It's not like Saber where, oh no, I have to give up now.
And now, which do you think is better right now, Revice or Trigger?
Being that we only have 2 episodes of Revice and 8 episodes of Trigger plus 2 clip shows, It's hard to say. Now, if within the next 6 weeks, if Revice has a couple of clip shows, then I'll have a more confirmed answer for you.
What about you?
Well, if we're Trigger right now is certainly the less confusing of the two. And yes, I'm more familiar with Trigger than Revice, so it's my preferred watching. I don't think the designs are going to get better. I think they'll in fact get more bonkers. I think the story will likely get more bonkers as we go along. I want to continue because I'm intrigued by how closely you could talk about Jungian theory with this approach. I'm not so interested in the story yet.
I kind of hope the story actually kicks off and does something, because with the way they're presenting it so far, even within these 2 episodes, we've had a lot of development. So I could see it, if they continue on a proper trajectory and not screw it, we could have a very well-defined story.
I right now I say that I'm intrigued enough by Revice that I want to continue. It's got some intrigue to me that I am curious to see how things progress.
There we go.
I'm also wanting to see. Also, I'm taking a bet. Which family member's going to die first?
None of them should die, because I do agree with the community that I like having all the family members there. If nothing else, maybe this is just a pipe dream of mine, but being that the sister can fight, it would be kind of cool to actually have, like in 01, a legitimate rider who is female who can actually hold her own.
The only thing I'm worried about is that they are going to do some sort of fake out death with one of the family members, where they're going to pull this like, oh, they die, but there's no body, and then like 4 or 5 episodes later, they're going to come back as the next rider.
That's going to be Daiji. If they did that, I would say it would be the younger brother.
It's even in his name.
Die, G! Die!
Actually, you know what would be cool? If the dad became a rider.
That would be pretty cool. Kamen Rider, oh, my hip! Oh, wait, Kamen Rider 2-hit.
He looks familiar, though.
He really does.
I don't know. I gotta look up the actor for that, because he looks familiar to me. But whatever. That's pretty much it for now. You can check us out on...
So, if you really want to check us out because you like couples therapy, along with having Silver Quill be the moderator, you can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon, all at Kaiju no Kami. And if you want to support us, please click like, subscribe, the bell notification, as well as comment in the video what you like about what we do, any feedback that you have, or any recommendations of what we could do further. And then you can also check out our website at creativitybydesignllc.com. And if you want to check out Silver Quill, you can actually check him out on YouTube and Twitter at MLP Silver Quill.
Yes, or do a search on YouTube for After the Fact. You'll find me.
Yes, he is not very far away.
And yes, for those that did not know, he does like kaiju and Toku stuff.
Darn straight.
There were a few people that were like, I didn't know Silver Quill was into those things.
I tried a little kaiju in college, but I never inhaled.
Oh my god!
Which time? Which college time? The first, the second, the third, or the fourth?
What, the fourth? Let's see, parody. No, there was 3.
Oh, there's only 3, okay.
There's only, well, you can kind of count fourth, but it was still in the video education. And then there was the 5th where, and then there was the 6th where I was drunk.
You drunk?
Alright, until next time.
Bye.